So, dear students, I'm going to teach principle of programming language, and this is the subject generally taught in BTech sixth semester of computer science engineering branch. So, basically, after completing this course, you will be able to describe merits and demerits of constructs, different constructs in programming, and able to describe the syntax and semantics of programming languages, and able to design and implement subprograms in various programming languages, and able to describe different programming language features. This is not limited, you can even learn more than this. So basically I will follow the Harvard Knowledge University syllabus, and their whole syllabus is divided in 10 units. Out of that, the first unit is language design issue, and the second unit is impact of machine architecture, third unit language translation issue, and fourth unit data types. Then fifth unit we will cover the inheritance, some of the inheritance property of different languages of object oriented programming languages. In unit 6 we will cover sequence control, in unit 7 we will cover sub program control, unit 8 we will cover storage management, unit 9 distributed processing, and unit 10 case study of different programming languages. So these are the textbooks I am going to follow. Basically these are for programming languages design and implementation by fourth edition of Terris W. Pratt, and programming language concepts and construct second edition by Ravi Sethi. So, first unit I am going to discuss the language design issue, where these are the contents. Um, their brief introduction to to programming languages, and then we will discuss the history of different programming languages. Then we will discuss the language development. Then we will discuss about evolution of software architecture. Then we will cover the requirement of good languages. Then we will cover syntax and semantics of programming languages. Then language paradigm. Then design issue. What are the design issue of any programming languages? So first question comes in mind, what is programming languages? So a programming language is a set of commands, instruction, and other syntax used to create a software program. So generally language that programmers use to write code are called high level language, which is recognized directly by computer hardware. Although their low level language comes machine assembly language and machine language, after that all are comes under high level language. So you can also define the programming language in another way. A programming language is a formal language which comprises a set of instructions used to produce various kinds of output. So programming languages are used to create programs that implement a specific algorithm. So next question, why study programming languages? So there are six main primary reasons to study the programming languages. So first is to improve your ability to develop effective algorithm. Definitely, once you know well the programming language about the programming language, then you can develop your algorithm effectively. For example, if you properly any programming language properly implemented, then programmers have the less time consuming. If any programming language if you implement improperly, then it will take the more time consume. So for example, in the recursion generally if you implement properly, then it will take less time, but if you implement improperly, then it may take to more time, and also it may use the memory ineffectively. So second reasons to improve your use of existing programming languages. So once you have well studied the know the programming languages, then you will definitely use which programming you will use. So next, to increase your vocabulary of useful programming constructs. Definitely, once you know the programming languages, you will increase your vocabulary to to the particular programming languages. For example, if you have know the different data types of the programming language, how it will implemented, then you will use effectively. And next, to allow a better choice of programming language. So once you know the programming language, you can have the choice to choose different programming languages to make the effective program, to make it easier to learn a new language. So once you know the programming language, then definitely it will help to learn new languages, to make it easier to design a new language. Yes, it is definitely you will learn, feel easy to design a new language. So next, there is some brief history I'm going to discuss about how it programming languages are have developed during 1951 to 55. There are some experimental their languages are designed which are mainly used in experimental use of expression compiler. During 1956 to 60, Fortran come in the picture, and also some COBOL, Lisp, Algol 60. These are the languages developed. And in 1961 to 1965, APL notation, Algol 60 are revised, and Snowball, CPL, these are the languages comes. And in 1966 to 70, APL, Snowball 4, Fortran 66, Basic, Simula, Algol 68, Algol W, VCPL, this language comes. And between 1971 to 75, Pascal, PL1, standard, C, scheme, Prolog, these are the languages come in the picture. And during 1976 to 80, the small talk, ADA, Fortran 77, and machine language, these are the languages comes in the picture. So after 1981 to 95, a small talk 80, Prolog, ADA 83, these language came. And in 1986 to 90, C++, SML, Haskell. In 1991 to 95, ADA 95, TCL, Perl. And during 1996 to 2000, Java come in the picture. And after 2000 to between 2000 to 2005, C Sharp, Python, Ruby, Scala, these are the languages come in the picture. Now, language development. Language developments come. There are four different types of languages. These are first, numerically based language. Numerically based languages, they are generally computing mathematical expression. So in this category, the Fortran, Algol, Pascal, PL, Y1, Basic, C++ comes in numerically based languages. And in business languages, generally COBOL are used. uh, COBOL means Common Business Oriented Language. It is the English line like notation. And after artificial intelligence languages, in this category, mainly tree search, rule-based paradigm languages are considered. For example, list processing language, Prolog, programming in logic, like these languages comes in artificial intelligence languages. And then there are some language comes in system languages type, where C++, a script languages, AWK, Perl, TCL, TK. These are the languages used in system, so developing the system. And for web programming, also HTML, XML, Java, Microsoft .NET family. These are comes to developing the web programming application. So now, evolution of software architecture. The different era comes for evolution of the software architecture. So first is mainframe era. In mainframe era, first is batch processing comes. In batch processing, what is happening? There set of data input file are giving for the input, set of data files are giving as the input, and then these are processing, then set of data files are giving the output. So this because of this, there be the batch processing uh, comes. So after that, interactive processing in time, generally interactive processing, and the programmer has the time sharing concept. Time sharing, that means any program have the particular duration of the slots, and that slot is fixed for the particular program. Then next user will come, for next user have the different time slots. So based on the time slot, these are program are processing. So they, and then effects of language design, and in effects of language design, their file input output in batch processing. There are some error handling in batch processing. Whatever with the error is coming in batch processing, they are handling. So these are the effects on language design. So time constraints in interactive processing. So time constraint is matter in interactive processing. So then personal computer era comes. So personal computer era, interactive processing is there, where as we discussed earlier, when time interactive processing time sharing concept are coming. Then we next came embedded system environment. In embedded system environment, generally a programming language used to control a part of a larger system, such as industrial plant, an aircraft, a machine tool, an automobile, etc. are used for embedded system environment. And their effects on language design are that no need for time sharing. Personal computers, they improve personal computer era, and then they have the good interactive graphics. They have the non-standard input-output devices for embedded systems. Then in network era, there comes distributed computing concept. In distributed computing, central machines are there, which is handling local machine for processing through line. So these are the based on client-server model of computing, where a server, a program that provides information. A client is a program that requests information. So in network era also internet come in the picture. In during mid 90s, distributed LAN concept came, and in 1989 Berners-Lee developed the concept of hypertext markup language, hyperlink hyperlink to navigate around the internet. So, and their effects on language design is interaction between the client and server programs, the active web pages developed, security issue also he managed well, and performance also comes in the picture during network era. So there during during early 1960, there are some applications based on application, languages are divided, like in business type application, uh, in during 90s era, 1960 era business type application, major languages used COBOL, and other languages are using assembler. And in scientific type application, major languages used Fortran, and other languages using Algol, Basic, APL. And system type applications, they are major languages using assembler, and other language Jovial and Forth. And artificial intelligence type applications, so the major languages used Lisp and other languages used as Snowball. So and in today's environment, in today's era, in business application types, in business application, major languages used are COBOL, C++, Java, Spreadsheet, and other languages are using C, PLI, fourth generation languages. And in mainly scientific application, we are using today Fortran, C, C++, Java, and other languages are basic. And during the in system type of applications, we are using C, C++, and Java, and other languages ADA, basic, Modula, and artificial intelligence type applications. We are using major languages Lisp, Prolog, and in publishing type applications, we are using text, that like latex, text studio is the tools where text language is used, post script word processing, And in process type of application, they are using Unix shell, TCL, Perl, JavaScript, and other languages AWK, Marvel, SCD. And new paradigm comes under ML, Smalltalk, and FL. So now comes what are the roles of programming languages. So definitely the different role of programming languages are there. So first is computer capability. Definitely based, because of programming languages, computer capability is also dependent. If the programming language is good programming language, if you choose a good programming language, then computer may perform good. If you choose some bad programming languages, earlier version of programming language, then your computer may be not perform good. So because of programming languages also different based on application, uh, application also programming languages are different. And in programming methods also role of programming languages comes in the picture, because depends on the programming language, the you will have the different types of programming methods, and also implementation methods. Different type of programming language have different implementation. It will also comes in the picture. Theoretical study are still it will help for research to develop the new programming languages, or some of the errors you can ignore in theoretical study. There are some standardization. In a standardization, programming languages also came, because there every programming language have some standard. Because if that programming language doesn't have a standard, then this programming language may not be a good programming language. So so how you can say any programming language is good programming language. So therefore there are many attributes are there to defining a good programming language. So these are the requirements of the good programming language. First one is conceptual integrity. Conceptual integrity, that means any programming language must have the clarity, simplicity, and unity. So any programming language must provide a clear, simple, and unified set of concepts that can be used as primitives in developing algorithms. So next attribute is orthogonality. Orthogonality means combines various features of the language in all possible combination, with every combination is meaningful. For example, if any language has some expression, and that expression have the give the some value, and a conditional statement is also there. Any language have the conditional statement which will give either true or false value, then the expression and conditional statements are orthogonal if expression used inside the conditional statement. So these are the both expression and conditional statement are orthogonal only if the expression are used inside the conditional statement. And the third attribute is naturalness for the application. Naturalness for the application, language needs syntax when it is properly used, allow the programmer that reflect the underlying structure of the algorithm. That means must be any language must have the natural syntax. That means it must have to be properly used and allow the programmer that reflect the structure of the algorithm. Whatever you are developing, that must have to reflect that structure of the algorithm. And these are the next criteria to make a good programming language is the support for abstraction. Generally C language does not have direct abstract type support. For example, if you ever have you cannot use direct abstract data type as directly in C, but in C++ you have the self-contained abstraction. That means you can use it. And also another requirement of the good programming language is your program verification. Whatever you program you have to retain must program which correctly performs is required function. You can easily verify that makes the good programming languages. Programming environment also one of the attribute to make the good programming languages, because with appropriate programming environment, because of if any language have appropriate programming environment, then when a big language is easier to work than a stronger language has the little external support. So a language must be reliable, efficient, and well documented implementation. Now there another criteria to make the good programming language is portability of programs. Any programming language must be portable. That means once you run in one machine, it must be also run on another machine. If any programming language, if you run on one machine and it will not run on another machine, then you cannot say this is the good programming language. So also cost also matters for a good programming language. Cost of use, that means different type. Cost of execution, if any programming language have the more cost in execution, then it is not you can say good programming language. So cost of execution also play a role in deciding a good programming language. Also cost of program translation also play an important role for deciding a good programming language. Cost of program creation, their testing and use, it also comes to decide the good programming language. Cost of program maintenance also one of the another factor. Then we will discuss syntax and semantics of the programming language. So as we know, syntax I'll be familiar with the other programming languages. Syntax is something what the program looks like. So generally a rule of syntax is how a statements declaration and other language construct are written. So the syntax says that how a statements declaration and other language constructs are written. So and semantics generally meaning given to various syntactic constructs. So what are the meaning of the given syntactic constructs? These are the semantics. This is called semantics of the programming language. So for example, I am taking the two languages in C. If you declare an array using int v, an array of integer name is v of size 10. In C we will declare as a int v of 10, but in Pascal we have declared same thing, array of integer of 10 size 10. So v as the array and 0 to 99 of integer. So here syntax for array declaration is different, but semantics is same. Semantics meaning is same in both languages. We are declaring the array of size 10. So the syntax are different but semantics are same. So these are language paradigms. Language paradigm, uh, four types of languages are comes. We can divide programming language in four types. There are imperative or procedural languages, applicative or functional languages, rule based or declarative languages, and object oriented languages. So in imperative or procedural languages, there are some. In imperative or procedural languages, generally language have the command driven or statement oriented languages. They are used with the command. And also that every statement, in every statement there are memory structure, uh, data of the memory is changing, so changing the machine. So in imperative procedural language, C, Pascal, Fortran, COBOL, these are language comes under imperative procedural languages. And in in computation, a sequence of machine states the contents of memory. That means in computation every sequence by sequence, every statements are running. So once one statement is running, their data in memory are changing. So these are called the imperative procedural languages. In applicative or functional languages, in these languages, programming consists of building the function that computer answers. So generally, they are mainly concentrating on building the functions that the answers of the um, that answer the computation. So in computation, functional composition is a major operation. That means in that category, machine language and Lisp programming language comes in the picture. And syntax is that function inside the function is there. So function name inside function 2, inside function 1, then in that inside the data or variable is there. So in rule based or declarative languages, uh, computation wise, actions are specified by rules that check for the presence of certain enabling condition, and examples are prologue example. So that means if it is true, then particular action will be performed. So these are called the rule based or declarative languages. So so every statement have the some condition and then some action are performed. So order of execution is determined by the enabling condition, not by order of a statement. Here see, the main difference between imperative and declarative rule based languages is that there here the order of execution is determined by the enabling condition, and but in imperative language order of execution is determined by the order of the statement. One by one statements are executing and then the output is coming, but here it determined by the some conditional. So if one condition is true, then the next action will be performed. So based on the condition, everything will happening based on the condition. So in object-oriented languages, uh, imperative in object-oriented languages, imperative languages merging with applicative design with imperative statements. So actually these languages, object-oriented languages, they are mixing with applicative design and imperative statements. So for example, in object-oriented languages, Java, C++, Smalltalk, these are the languages comes under object-oriented languages. And in syntax, as we know, the object-oriented languages have the syntax and define the objects in the as the classes uh, containing data. Data is the imperative concepts and methods are the applicative concepts. So then the following are the main language design issue. Earlier we saw the language design issue have the mainly designed to run efficiently, any programming language run efficiently, and these are the main focus in early languages. That means during 1951 to 60, early languages their main focus to run efficiently, and after that easy to write correctly. And these are the features in new languages, and then data typing features in machine languages, and as we know in C++ classes that comes under the picture and package of ADA languages. So that's all. So thanks. If you have any question, you can directly mail to me. As you know the mail ID. My mail ID is manojngp13 at the rate of gmail.com.